Okay, so I have a Zoom Premium account and it should be up to 1,000 people, but I think I messed that up, but that's fine. I hope they didn't downgrade my account because if that's the case, then we're gonna get thrown out after 45 minutes. But I don't think that's the case because then usually you would see a countdown timer somewhere in the top. So with that said, thank you for joining us or joining me because it's just me today. Um, for those of you who don't know who I am, obviously I have to do this mandatory about us slide. Because I did see a lot of first timers, first time PPC Mastery Workshop people in here in the chat. That's awesome. So my name is Miles McNair. I'm co-founder of PPC Mastery alongside this legend Bob Meyer here that you see on the screen. Together we have more than 15 years of experience in PPC, helping a lot of different clients. I specialize mainly in ecom and Bob in lead gen, but he's also really good at ecom. Over the last 2 years, we've built the PPC Hub, our membership community, to more than 1,600 members and coached more than a couple thousand Google Ads specialists in our programs. So everything that you're going to learn today is based on real experience from us in our own accounts, in our own careers, but also from input from all of our members and course students, etc. So just know that I'm here to help you succeed. And I hope this is going to be valuable to you. Oh, I actually have this one as well. We both got voted again in the top 50 or top 100 most influential PPC experts. So thank you all. This year I was voted 12th and Bob 26th. And I think next month they're going to release the new rankings for 2025. So fingers crossed, should be exciting. So the topic of this workshop today is how to thrive in 2025 and how to position yourself as a Google Ads specialist so that you can thrive when a lot of others will struggle. Because 2025, in my opinion, is going to be the year when a lot of people will struggle. And I've listed out some of these reasons why people might struggle this year, and we're going to go over that in a sec. But in this workshop, you will discover our two-step framework that you can use and that you can use as inspiration on how you should position yourself, what you can do to drive results, and how to ultimately, feel more confident in your abilities. Because I know that you're here because you do care about delivering the best possible results to your clients, and I hope this workshop will help you with that. So just to set the expectations a little bit, this workshop is not a highly tactical session on campaign setups or optimizations, but what this workshop is, however, is your roadmap to ensure that you stay relevant and thrive in 2025. And I want to use this workshop as, more so inspiration and to help you think about how you position yourself, how you think of yourself as a Google Ads specialist. And then for these other highly tactical sessions on, the nitty gritties and tracking and campaign structure, etc., we have other workshops, courses, content, etc. for that. But because we're at the beginning of the year, it's always nice to take a step back and think about, your career from maybe a little bit of a higher level. So my goal for you today is that you walk away with total clarity on how to drive results in 2025 and potentially a new way of looking at yourself as a Google Ads specialist. And I know that you might feel a little bit of overwhelmed sometimes or frustration by how fast the industry is changing, or you might be here because you're just really ready to take it to the next level. And I hope you're in the right place to lay the foundation for the best year of your career. So again, let me know in the chat, guys. Thumbs up if you think driving results with Google Ads has become easier, or thumbs down if you think it has become harder. Let me know in the chat. Harder, harder, harder. I see a lot of harder. This is what I like about Zoom, by the way. We have the chat and the reactions are instant as well. Because I used to stream on YouTube, but then you always have a delay. So actually, I see a lot of people say it's become harder. I haven't seen one who said easier, and I'm not surprised actually, because last year PPC survey released a report called the State of PPC Global Report, And they surveyed more than 1,000 Google Ads specialists and asked them the same question: do you think driving results has become harder or easier? And 49% said harder, and 16% said easier. And then the rest, about 34, 35% ish, said somewhat harder. So you're not alone. I think a lot of people are feeling challenged by the industry and thinking it has become harder. And I wanted to do my own little research and asked LinkedIn, my followers on LinkedIn as well. And out of more than 1,000 people, also 81% said that they think driving results has become, in fact, harder. So I wondered, why are Google Ad specialists struggling? And I obviously thought for myself. I look in the PPC Hub, also on LinkedIn, and I see what people are saying. And the core reasons why people are struggling is because, one, Google Ads is changing faster than ever, as you know. New features are being launched left, right, and center. It's all about AI these days, and yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all of these changes. Now, next to that, speaking of AI, we have decreased control. So with all of the automation and AI, Google technically has the power because a lot of the targeting is automated, a lot of the ads are being automated, and a lot of the bids are automated. So then ultimately that leaves us with a big challenge, because Google determines what the ads look like, Google determines where the ads show, and how much we actually pay for a click. So that's challenging as well, and I totally understand that. But next to that, it's also growing expectations from clients, which doesn't make our job any easier. So this is also from the State of PPC Global report from last year, and you can see that they asked people what their clients wanted, and the primary type of business goals that they set. And the majority said that they want efficient growth. So they want to grow, but within a specific precondition, like a KPI, a specific target. And that's always the hardest, because yeah, clients are more ambitious than ever, but they also want to be sure that you drive results within a target KPI, which doesn't make it any easier. Then there's low trust in Google. People are wondering, is Google cutting out agencies? This is from Reddit. People are actually wondering not only that, but also have the fear of getting replaced by AI. You can see here on Reddit as well. I see it from people chatting about it as well. About, is AI going to take my job, etc. Newsflash, I don't think so. Obviously, it's not going to take your job, but it is a fact that with all the fast developments that we're seeing on that front, yeah, it is just the case that I think Mike Rhodes was the one who said it best. He said AI is not taking over your job, but someone who is using AI might. Yeah, I don't want to do fear mongering here, but people are getting worried about these things. And it's easy to feel like you're lacking behind if you're not using those things. Especially when Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, said that last year. He said that 95% of what marketers use agencies, strategies, and creative professionals for today will easily, nearly instantly, and at almost no cost be handled by AI. All free, instant, and nearly perfect. Images, videos, campaign ideas, no problem. Yeah, that is definitely the challenging factor for a lot of Google Ad specialists. But then next to that, I think the biggest reason why Google Ad specialists are struggling is because of shiny object syndrome. And shiny object syndrome is something that I am very familiar with myself. And what it actually means is that you are constantly attracted by new ideas, and you think that there is one, there's this new fancy trick or tactic or strategy that you should use to drive results. Or when you look on LinkedIn, it's always so many conflicting ideas from people. And this is not to throw anyone under the bus. I mean, I'm posting on LinkedIn every day as well. But then if you scroll your feed, you're going to see someone who says, never use broad match, or always use broad match, or consolidation. No, you need segmentation. No, manual CPC is the best. Smart bidding is the best. You need to focus on ROAS. No, ROAS is a lie. There's all these different approaches to Google Ads, which can be super frustrating because you don't really know, like, oh, is that something that I should be doing, or is it a shiny object? And a shiny object is basically something that is, it looks nice and it looks fancy, but it is actually something that is a distraction in disguise. And I think, in my opinion, shiny object syndrome is the biggest reason why people struggle, because you kind of lose sight on what actually matters to drive results. And then lastly, there's time. We have our clients to manage, we have families, you have a life, and all of these challenges, combined with the fact that you have so little time, um, yeah, that just makes it even more challenging to try and keep up. So with that said, with the time side, I want to say thank you for being here and taking the time out of your busy week, because I know it's I'm definitely not taking that for granted. I know it's just right after the Christmas break, and a lot of you are just starting up again. So thank you for joining me here. So with all of these challenges, it can become hard to deliver the best possible results to your clients. And Bob and I, we sat together and we thought, like, okay, if so many people are struggling, um, how come? And how come that others seem like they're thriving? And we looked at our own careers, and it's definitely not been a rocket ship of always up, definitely not. But when we reverse engineered our careers and and thought about, okay, when did we see the most success? It was basically when we did two things, and this is where the two-step framework starts. And this is based on 15 years of experience, a lot of ad spend, and thousands of students in our community and in our courses. The first thing is we focus relentlessly on the fundamentals, and I call that the key to success. But then next to that, we need to look beyond Google Ads, which is the key to survive. So then we have inside of Google Ads, the fundamentals are the thing that are going to help you drive results over and over. But then nowadays, that's no longer enough to just do Google Ads well. You need to look beyond Google Ads as well to drive the best possible results, but also to help your clients on a higher level, become business partners for them, etc. So this workshop, I'm going to dive into these two things with two separate frameworks, and hopefully that gives you a really cool idea on what you can do this year to, yeah, drive the best possible results and become a better partner for your clients. And ultimately, I'll say this, I have never been more sure of anything. I'm always pretty nuanced, I always say it depends. But in this case, I kind of know that if you do these two things well, you will, well, you will probably succeed. Because these are two things that we have focused on ourselves, but now since we have started teaching these in the PPC Hub and outside of that, we have seen that more and more people have success with that as well. So the first part is focusing on the fundamentals and ignoring shiny object syndrome. And by focusing on the fundamentals, you focus on what drives results and not on what sounds fancy. And we do this for ourselves since a while now. We really made the commitment to do the fundamentals well over and over. And this has really helped us lay really solid foundations that we can then build upon. And it's also a system that can be relatively easily adapted to other clients as well. And because you stick to the fundamentals, you become much less overwhelmed or stressed, because you're not always looking for that, that next new thing, that next shiny object, or that next advanced tactic. And here's a case study from Bob from a couple months ago, when he shared on LinkedIn that he had a really good case study for a lead gen client in which he took over the account and really went back to the basics. And what he did was consolidated the account, switched the conversion tracking from Google Ads conversion tracking to offline conversion tracking, set up target CPA on all campaigns, introduced broad match and DSA, and a few other things as well, like rapid ad testing, etc. But by doing these more fundamental things, he was able to increase the conversions year over year by more than 250%, while decreasing the CPA by 60% and increasing conversion rate by almost 5 times. And you can see here, this was this graph from Google Ads, which is insane. Like, the blue line is the new line of conversions, and the red line is the new line of the CPA, the cost per acquisition. So that's a great case of why the fundamentals actually matter. But I want to illustrate this. If you have been to one of my presentations before, you might have heard me talk about this earlier. But I want to illustrate this, why the importance of the fundamentals with a sports example. So let's say you want to become a world-class football player like Cristiano Ronaldo, who you see here. Now, when you want to become really good, you don't start with the most fancy trick shots like the bicycle kick here. Even though this is a really great goal, if you try to do this without a fundamental understanding of I won't say Google Ads, of football, then you're going to get injured, and it's not going to work. So what you want to do is, if you want to become a great football player, you start with boring, basic passing drills. So you do left foot pass, right foot pass, left foot pass, right foot pass. And in doing so, in mastering the fundamentals, you become really good at the game of football. So you can see here, this is a wonderful goal. If you are no football fan, then this does not make any sense to you. If you do love football like me, then you know how hard it is to do this. But what they're doing basically is just pass, 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 and then goal. And the thing is that this is impossible to defend against, which is, don't be fooled by how easy this looks. This is really hard to do. Mohammed, as you said, one of the best goals, but this is extremely hard to do. But they've mastered the fundamentals, and thus they've made it easy. They've made it look easy. And this is what happens when you ignore the fundamentals and you try to do a trick shot and then you fail miserably. Or like here, when Robin van Persie, my fellow Dutchman, his fundamentals were a little bit off here, and it failed. But then outside of sports, you wouldn't build a house without a proper foundation. That's something that you always need to think about. And recently, I've been going down a rabbit hole on YouTube, and I've been watching content from Kobe Bryant, watching a lot of his old interviews. Rest in peace, Kobe. And in this interview, it's about 90 seconds. I want to show it to you, this clip. He explains why the fundamentals were so important in his journey to becoming a world-class basketball player. And he explains how when he was 12, he went to a summer camp and he was really bad. He scored 0 points. And then he had a decision to face for himself. Okay, do I quit or do I force myself to get better, and how? And by focusing on the fundamentals, he was able to develop into the best player in the state in just 2 or 3 years after that. So let's take a quick look. Let me know in the chat if you can hear the audio, because that's an important one.
I think that's when the idea of understanding a long-term view became important, because I wasn't going to catch these kids in a week. I wasn't going to catch them in a year, right? So that's when I sat down and said, okay, this is going to take some thought, right? What do I want to work on first? All right, shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this. Half a year, 6 months, do nothing but shoot. All right, after that, all right, creating your own shot, and then you focus. So I started creating a menu of things. When I came back the next summer, I was a little bit better. Right?
And a menu being like, I've got my jump shot from 15, I've got my
I got my jump shot from 15, I got my three-point shot, like just open shots, not miss open shots, right? And be able to shoot it with speed, because those kids are so much more athletic.
Yeah.
And then the next summer I came back, I was a little better. And the summer came back, next summer I was a little better. I scored.
Yeah,
it wasn't much, but I scored.
And this is 12, 13.
12, 13. And then 14 came around, back half of 13, 14 years old, and then I was just killing everyone. And it happened in 2 years. And I wasn't expecting it to happen in 2 years, but it did, because what I had to do was work on the basics and the fundamentals. Well, they relied on their athleticism and their natural ability. And because I stick to the fundamentals, it just caught up to them. And then my body, my knees stopped hurting. I grew into my frame. And
then your athleticism, once you have the fundamentals, the hard work, the mindset, and you tack on the athleticism, it's game over.
Then it was game over.
Wow. So from 13, you're good, average still?
I was good. I was good. And then about the end of my right when I was turning 14, I became the best player in the state.
At 14?
At 14.
So from 12 to 14, you went from scoring 0 to being the best in the state of all 8.
So I just loved this when I heard this, and I thought, I need to incorporate this in one of my presentations, because he basically explained in 90 seconds what I've been trying to explain to you in this entire presentation. And it speaks so much more when you hear a legend like Kobe say those things. So I realized that, okay, if in sports, if the fundamentals are so important to have success, then the same is the case for in our profession, in our industry, in Google Ads. But earlier on in my career, I was always looking for that next big advanced tactic. And now I realize that that is the wrong approach, because that is just shiny object syndrome in action. And you need to be careful with that. So what you want to do is be very disciplined to stay focused on the fundamentals, because those things is what is going to help you drive the results. And I'm going to show you the fundamentals, obviously, in a sec, because our job as Google Ads specialists, it is to drive results for our clients. And you do that by deeply mastering Google Ads and understanding the ins and outs of the platform. But this can also be overwhelming. And I think because of this overwhelm and because of all the fast changes, we have shiny object syndrome, because there's always that thing that sounds appealing. But then when you test it, it might not actually be the case, because oftentimes these fancy sounding tactics are really case specific. So then the question is, where do you start? And in my opinion, mastering Google Ads is not about finding the right buttons or reading news updates. And it's also not about using advanced tactics, but it is about understanding the mechanics of the platform and the fundamentals of Google Ads, so that you can tailor your strategy to your client specific needs. And it's not about some secret or a hack, because those things are, I see a lot of people online and they say that we have the secret sauce, or we've cracked the code, or here are Google Ads hacks. But there is no secret sauce and there is no hack. In my opinion, it's all about doing the fundamentals well over and over. And that gives you a plan for what to do no matter the circumstances. But I have to address one thing really quickly. And that is, you might be thinking now, I don't know if that's the case for you, but a lot of people think at this point, okay, fundamentals are important, but this is just boring beginner BS, because I am experienced, I'm advanced. I literally, someone emailed me today and he said that I have experience with Google Ads from 2005. I don't need to do the fundamentals. I just want the advanced stuff. So before you fight me, let me clarify something. And this is a definition of fundamental. Fundamental is foundational, and it is not necessarily beginner. So fundamental means foundational, such as the main things that provide the solid foundations for all the rest. But those things are independent of beginner or advanced. And ideally, you tackle the fundamentals first when you're first learning, which makes it seem beginner. But just because it is the first step and the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth doesn't mean that it is basic. It's actually the other way around. Like, the experts know that the key to growth and the key to success is doing the fundamentals over and over. Because Kobe, in his case, he could have, that summer when he tried to get better and focus on the fundamentals, after learning how to shoot, he could have said, okay, I know how to shoot the ball now. Now I'm just gonna do really cool, like fancy trick shots. But he knew that, no, I need to perfect my craft. I need to become even better at the shot. I need to move better. I need to jump better, etc. So the boring, quote unquote, fundamentals drive 80% of your results. And it is actually, for a lot of people, they have their focus wrong. And I know this because I had this. So what a lot of people focus on, and what I used to focus on, is 20% of my time in doing the fundamentals well, and then 80% of my time I was looking for that advanced, like, new tactic. But it's actually much more productive to focus 80% of your time on the fundamentals, because 80% of your results is coming from the fundamentals. And I'm not saying that advanced tactics and strategies are bad, but you can only really leverage them when you have a good foundation. And I love the comment from Serena in the chat. She said, you can be the best baker, but you can't make a cake without flour. And there you go. I might just steal that. Thank you. So Alex Ramosi, one of the guys that I follow, that I love to consume content from, I also heard him say in one of his podcasts that you don't outgrow the fundamentals. And that is the thing. You do it. It's not like you set it up once and then it's done. No, you do the fundamentals over and over, and you do not outgrow them. So beginners focus on advanced strategies, while experts focus on the fundamentals. And we, Bob and I, want to make it as easy for you as possible to drive results. But I don't want to sound like I'm oversimplifying Google Ads, because Google Ads is still hard, but we can make it a bit easier for ourselves by following a framework of the fundamentals. So again, I don't want to make it come across as if it's easy with the fundamentals, but I would say it is easier. So we've developed a simple framework to help you deliver the best possible results over and over. And you may have seen this on LinkedIn, or you may have seen me share this before. And we've actually created the Google Ads success formula, which used to be 7 steps, then 8 steps. And recently we have added the 9th step to this. And this framework is really strong and powerful to help you drive maximum results over and over. And it's also something that you can use to diagnose where the bottleneck is for your growth and your account, and where you can actually optimize to grow. So the Google Ads success formula, 9 things are: 1, an irresistible offer; 2, a conversion optimized landing page to convert traffic into customers, or into customers. Scalable unit economics, and I'm going to touch on that in a sec. You need aligned and defined goals and KPIs. You need crystal clear conversion tracking. You need a strong campaign structure that is based on your goals and your KPIs, and aligned, sort of the bridge between your Google Ads goals and your client's business goals. You need really laser sharp targeting of the right people. You need compelling creatives, and you need proper bids and budget management. And if you do these things, you are very likely to see success. And the first 3 or 4 things that I have mentioned, so your irresistible offer, conversion optimized landing page, scalable unit economics, and defined goals and KPIs, actually have a disproportionate impact on your results. And these things happen outside of Google Ads, which is why a lot of Google Ads specialists actually don't focus on them. But your offer has a huge impact on your results, almost bigger than anything else. But your landing page as well, so underrated, how much more you can make from a well-optimized landing page. But because a lot of Google Ads specialists, they are stuck in optimizing the second part of the framework, which is the tracking, the structure, the targeting, creatives, bids and budgets, etc., you kind of forget and lose out on the things that really move the needle. So this is Kuda. He's one of the members in the PPC Hub. And I was really proud when he shared this comment on LinkedIn last week, or a couple of weeks ago. He said, the most important lesson I have learned from Miles and Bob in the PPC Hub is maintaining an unrelenting commitment to fixing the fundamentals. And then he went on to mention the fundamentals from this framework. And I will continue to say it. And this is my mission for this year, to make sure that as many Google Ads specialists as possible realize that the key to success, and the key to prevent overwhelm, and the key to make sure that you don't stress out because of all the fast changes, etc., is to do the fundamentals well. And if your campaigns fail, it's usually because one or more of these 9 steps are missing or poor. And more often than not, it's actually more than one that is missing. So again, the formula, you see it here, but let's see what happens when we remove one of these criteria for success. So let's say you have everything in place except an irresistible offer. Well, I call that useless, because you have an optimized landing page, you have the right targeting, right campaign structure, good tracking, etc., etc. But if nobody actually wants what you have for sale, if the offer is not enticing, if it's not irresistible, then it's a useless campaign, and you're not spending your money in the best way you can. Let's say you do have that offer and you do have everything else, but your landing page sucks, which is usually the biggest bottleneck for Google Ads growth that I have seen as well. You'll be surprised like how bad landing pages are. If you have everything except a conversion optimized landing page, basically you're a leaky bucket, because your ad spend is so inefficiently spent, and you can make, if you fix your landing page, you can make so much more from your budget. Now, let's say if you don't have the right unit economics, and this is something that Bob added to this framework recently, and I wholeheartedly agree with the importance of this. Unit economics is basically everything that goes into the costs and revenue and number related finance stuff that goes into the products and services that you sell. So to illustrate this with an example, Bob actually got a lead in his inbox this week, and they said that they are a web shop, and he said that we have a lot of products, but the margins aren't great, around 20 to 24%. But then they still want to ask Bob for help in scaling their Google Ads campaigns. But then you can ask yourself, okay, if your unit economics are off, you only have 20% margin per product, then it simply becomes really hard to get results with Google Ads. But a lot of Google Ads specialists will, first of all, not even look at these things. But then maybe even if they do, they will say, sure, I'll run your campaign and we'll see what we can make from your budget. But we need to have, we need to talk to our clients. We need to challenge them on their margins, because it's, if your unit economics aren't good and your margins aren't good, then we cannot expect that your campaign will magically just work well, So it is really important that your unit economics are actually on point. And another case study that I haven't even included in here is from one of Bob's supplement brands from his accounts. And I think he drove around 40 to 60, let's say 40K revenue in a month for this client. And then they made like 1K in gross profit because they have such tiny margins. And then that doesn't have to be bad per se, but we need to be able to discuss these things with our clients and say, we got a lot of revenue, that's awesome, but our margins are super low. What are we going to do about that? Are we going to, do a post-purchase campaign to get people to purchase again? What's our customer acquisition costs in relation to our lifetime value? These things are topics that we don't discuss with clients as Google Ads specialists nearly enough. But these are the things that really move the needle, push the needle forward. So next to that, if you have everything in place except for the right goals and KPIs, it's just aimless because you don't really know if your campaign structure is any good, if it's nothing aligns to a bigger goal, and then you're just being aimless. Without the right conversion tracking, you're blind because, we need the data for smart bidding. We need the data to make decisions. We need data to optimize. And so you need crystal clear conversion tracking. And without that, you're just shooting into the dark and you're blind. Without the right campaign structure, you are fragmented because you might not be creating the right structures for the right goals, which can often lead to suboptimal data input for smart bidding, for example. If you're not targeting the right people, obviously we know what happens. You're targeting the right people, the wrong people. If your creatives are not good, you're unremarkable. So you can have the best campaign structure, really good targeting, a really good offer, etc. But if your messaging in your ads and your creative is off, then it's unremarkable and people will not click on your ads, and then you will still not grow. And then lastly, if your bid and budget management is off, then you're basically spending inefficiently because your targets are off. Your budgets are maybe too high or too low or whatever it is. You're just inefficiently working and spending your budget. So those are the fundamentals for success with Google Ads. If you do those well, you are very likely to succeed. And that's how I helped a client. This is my proudest case study, which is why I'm showing it. One of my old clients, I worked with them for 3 years, and I helped them 10x their performance in 3 years by sticking to the fundamentals. Or in the PPC Hub, and I'm showing you these examples because I want to actually prove that this is working and not just say that it is working. In the PPC Hub, we see Ramil, one of our most active members. He shared a case study in which he said that by sticking to the fundamentals, he was able to increase conversions by 52%, increase ROAS by 40%, and slash the CPA by 27%, so decrease. And he said what he did was he fixed the tracking with server-side tagging, consolidated the account setup again, leveraged increased use of broad match and product feed optimization. And you can see here the tracking, consolidation, and broad match are actually 3 things that we also saw in the case study from Bob earlier. So it's again, the fundamentals are the things that drive the results. Then we have Alessandro. He's also a member in the PPC Hub, and he had a really good case study to share as well, where he was able to increase leads by 43% and decrease CPA by 64%. And he actually said that it's no secrets, just accuracy and reading of the data, in his words. And for him, what he did was set up better conversion tracking, focus his 80-20 on what already was working, and he cut out the rest, optimized display, better targeting there, optimized PMAX assets, and he optimized his keywords and ads. So when everyone focuses on shiny objects, you will crush it by doing the fundamentals right. So next time when you feel attracted to a new idea on LinkedIn or wherever else, when you hear it from someone, always ask yourself, okay, do I think this is actually beneficial for my specific account or accounts? Or is this potentially a distraction or a shiny object? And I think the way to go forward is by always asking yourself, okay, wait, are my fundamentals in place? If not, skip everything else, do the fundamentals first, because we layer these advanced things on top of the fundamentals. And Bruce Lee said it best. He said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And we do 10,000 kicks in the form of an irresistible offer, a conversion optimized landing page, scalable unit economics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, from the Google Ads Success Formula framework, all the way to what we do inside of Google Ads. So with our tracking, our targeting, our creatives, our structure, bits and budgets, and our goals and KPIs. So why did I show you this? Because we must keep it simple. And again, Google Ads can be simple, not easy, if you stick to the fundamentals, but the biggest danger is getting distracted by shiny object syndrome. So want to hear my secret to faster growth? And I'm actually going to remove the word secret from this next time because it's kind of lame. But want to hear what I did to grow faster in my career, and that is specializing in e-commerce. So for me, specializing in e-commerce resulted in mastery faster. And this is kind of a little bit of a sidestep to what I'm actually trying to tell you here today, because I'm focusing on the fundamentals and one more thing that I'm touching on in a bit. But I did want to include this because I specialized in e-com early in my career because I wanted to launch my own dropshipping store and my own Shopify store, launch my own brand. This was at the end of 2017. And it was right, it was at the end of 2017. And I came out of college. I was traveling with my girlfriend. And when we came back, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I found this dropshipping course. Who hasn't gone through one of those in the early 20s? So I figured, hey, I want to do that. But first, before I do that, I want to learn the skills in order to be able to do that. So I started working at an agency, at a traineeship, which was a Google Ads traineeship. And I wanted to use this time at this agency to learn how to actually grow an e-com brand so that I can use that for my own case. After about 3 to 6 months of experience with working with e-com clients, I realized that this is not the thing for me. I don't want to grow my own brand because of the margin thing, because of the fulfillment thing. But in the meantime, I was still selling a little bit on the marketplace in the Netherlands and in a dropshipping store. And you can see here that on the right side that my whole house was filled with boxes. And I never made any profit from this, but I did learn a lot of the ins and outs of e-commerce that I can then apply to my own clients. And funny enough, Bob also did this at the beginning of his career when we didn't know each other yet. He did this, but he was more interested in lead gen, so he specialized in lead gen early. And the benefits of specializing in e-com for me and lead gen for Bob the benefits were faster learning because I focused on one client type. My learning compounded over time. I got better results because I encountered the similar problems which I could then solve for one client, like for example, attribution issues, then also solve that for another and say how we solved it for similar clients. I was able to productize my service delivery as a result. And because of that, I had happier clients and I was happier myself because it became quote unquote easier for me to drive results because I was constantly encountering similar issues. And yeah, that ultimately led to me growing faster, because when you specialize, the learning curve is just really steep, like it goes up fast. And recently in the PPC Hub, I spoke to one of our members. This is Jos, and he went through one of our courses in which I spoke about the need for specialization, or not necessarily the need, but why that has benefited me. And he realized that he wanted to specialize in lead gen himself. And he actually shared a cool story, a heartfelt story in the PPC Hub of how specializing in lead gen helped him position himself better in the market, and also get better clients from LinkedIn, who now know that he is actually a lead gen specialist, a Google Ads specialist for lead gen clients. So in his words, one of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the power of specialization. After starting with a broader focus, doing Google Ads, SEO, and other platforms, I decided to go all in on Google Ads, and more recently, lead generation. Narrowing my focus made it easier to sell my services, create content, and position myself as an expert. In fact, 2 of my most recent clients came specifically because they saw me specialize in lead generation. So that just shows you the power of specializing. I rarely get lead gen clients in my DMs. It's almost always ecom clients, because I just specialize in ecom, and that's what I talk about the majority of the time. But this is completely optional. I don't want to say that you have to specialize or you have to choose, but it is something worth thinking about. But in the end, do what works for you. But remember, the fundamentals are the key to success with Google Ads. So that's the first part of this framework, of this 2-step framework. So now you know my opinion on why I think the fundamentals are so important to drive results with Google Ads. But now let's look at what you can do to keep winning in the long run. So when Bob and I, we were still thinking about the things that we did when we reverse engineered our own careers, the first thing that we saw is when we had the most success is when we focused on the fundamentals. But then secondly, we realized that we usually have the biggest impact on long-term growth of our clients when we look beyond Google Ads, because that is where the real impact is made. And as you've seen in Sam Altman's quote that I mentioned earlier, a lot of the things that we have in Google Ads is being automated. There's much less to do inside of Google Ads. And as a result, yeah, our work is kind of changing, and therefore, with all these fast changes, and there's a lot of competitors and agencies and other freelancers that are constantly after your clients. That's just the nature of the competitive landscape that we're in. We figured that we always have the biggest impact on our clients when we focus more on the things that happen outside of Google Ads. So the offers, the landing pages, the business strategy, unit economics, etc. And we always try to become partners, business partners for our clients. Because if you see here, this quote from Sam Altman, who's basically saying that AI is replacing a lot of the tasks, the manual tasks that we're doing, then that means that a lot of Google Ads specialists and agencies will become commodities. And a commodity is a product or service that can be easily replaced and has no differentiating factors. So if you are just a person who is only focusing on Google Ads and just only working inside of Google Ads, then you need to look really critically at your skill set and think, okay, what I'm doing now, will this become obsolete in maybe 1 or 2 years? Is this going to be automated away? Or is someone who is using AI, could they maybe snatch this client from me because they're doing it better, faster, smarter, etc.? So that means that your service probably in that case needs to change, because just doing Google Ads, quote unquote, is no longer enough. And we have to look beyond Google Ads and become business partner for our clients. And let me illustrate that with Bob's longest standing client. And I have similar cases. My longest standing client was with me for 4 years, but Bob's longest client is with him for 7 years. And that started as a on the side, side hustle when he was still working at an agency. He started with this client I think it was even 50 euros per hour, but let's say 65 euros per hour. And he started just being the Google Ads guy for this client. And then in 4 years' time, he grew from 65 euros per hour to 200 euros per hour for this client. And Bob allowed me to share these invoices as proof. So you can see here on the left in 2020, he was making 65 euros an hour for this client. Now, 4 years later, that's 200 per hour, which is more than 3 times an increase. In the meantime, he got a 50K bonus as a freelancer, which is insane. Like, who gives a bonus to a freelancer? And he has helped his client with an acquisition process. So in just 4 years' time, Bob grew from this on-the-side Google Ads guy to the full-fledged business partner, like irreplaceable right-hand man for the CEO of this company. And then you can ask, like, oh, how did he do that? Well, I think what he did really well here is he always focused on Google Ads as the core of his skill set, but he also knew that in order to make real impact, he needs to look beyond Google Ads to drive really like meaningful results. So here are just a few things that he did that actually have nothing to do with your core skill set as a Google Ads specialist. And Jorn, yeah, 50K bonus, that's sick, but just imagine if a client is giving a 50K bonus to a freelancer, how much more growth Bob should have probably given to this client, like a huge multiple of that 50K. What he did was set up a customer lifetime value framework for offline conversion tracking and value-based bidding based on profit margins. But he didn't do this alone. He did that with development. He helped his client cross borders and expand to other countries. So they started in just the Netherlands and Belgium and scaled to more than 25 different languages or countries. He helped to expand into other channels, like more social, more SEO, etc. But he didn't do this work himself, but he saw the opportunity and he helped his client realize that that was a necessity to grow. And then he introduced his client to senior experts from his network, which was again like a huge shortcut for this client, because otherwise it's really hard to find those specialists. He helped set up Google Tag Manager, GA4, Advanced Looker Studio dashboards, profit tracking, etc. And he did a lot of things that are not typically required of Google Ads specialists. But he realized that Google Ads is just a piece of the puzzle and not the puzzle itself. But where a lot of, I don't know if you can actually see the mouse, maybe not. Where a lot of Google Ads specialists get stuck is in this little piece of just Google Ads. But if you want to grow, you need, other channels. You need to focus on your offers, your landing pages, etc. But that doesn't mean that you should do per se everything yourself, but you need to be able to spot the opportunities for your clients. Because in the meantime, like you saw here in Bob's case, there could have easily been another freelancer or an agency who said to this client, like, okay, you're paying whatever 8K per month to your freelancer. Oh, we can do it for cheaper. But Bob became irreplaceable, and because he was not a commodity, he was a business partner for his client, which is why he is to this day still working with this client. So AI and automation has basically changed the way that we work. And back in the days, we used to do a lot inside of Google Ads, adjusting bids, doing bid layers, adjusting what's it called, like ad schedules, all that stuff. Really granular ad testing. We had huge campaign structures, but as time progressed and we got more automation and more AI, etc., the things that we can do and should do inside of Google Ads is actually decreasing. So the time spent optimizing Google Ads campaigns is actually going down, which allows us to focus more time on business strategy. And as a result, I think your value as a Google Ads specialist is changing, where before it used to be 30% of your results, I have to say this differently. Your value as a Google Ads specialist changes, where right now, frankly, 30% of your results are driven by the things that you do inside of Google Ads. But 70% and this is rough, like give or take, 70% of your results are generated by the things that you do outside of Google Ads. So just because you do less within Google Ads doesn't mean that you become less valuable. And in my opinion, it's actually the opposite. You become more valuable, but you need to change the way that you operate. So again, less time in Google Ads is an opportunity because you can focus more on the things that have a disproportionate impact on results, because a lot of the other things are actually automated. And because of this, you can now focus on what truly matters, which is doing the fundamentals well, setting up everything in your Google Ads account the way it should be, with your tracking, your campaign structure, your targeting, your creatives, your bid strategies, your budgets, etc. All these things need to be 10 out of 10. But the way you really take it to the next level for your clients is if you can help them craft better offers, if you can help them optimize their landing pages. This is, like, again, landing pages is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that is holding Google Ads specialists back from driving results, their landing page. And it's the easiest to optimize. Yeah, it's not easy per se to create conversion optimized landing pages, but it's also not super hard actually. There's just a lot of research that goes into it because you have to know who your clients' customers are and what really ticks for them in terms of messaging and types of offer, etc. Next to that, if you can help your clients again with unit economics, clients never have these conversations with their Google Ads specialist or with their agency or with the freelancer that they're talking to. So if you can challenge them and say, the products that we're advertising on are hero products. We only have 20% margin. That's not nearly enough to scale. We need to change something. We either need to focus more on lifetime value, or we need to focus on, decreasing the cost per goods sold or whatever it is. Then you have really high level conversations and chats with your clients, which is going to really set you apart from the rest and make you irreplaceable. And then, of course, also you need really good goals and KPIs, which are oftentimes lacking. So just because you do less inside of Google Ads and more outside of it, that doesn't mean that you do not have to deeply master Google Ads. You have to do everything inside of Google Ads right as well. But if you want to succeed in the long term, you need to become a business partner for your clients, or else I fear that a lot of you, or a lot of us, I have to include myself, will become irrelevant in the future or maybe replaced by someone else. So the question then is, how do you become future-proof and how do you position yourself in 2025 so that you can thrive? So let's look at some options. The first option is you can become a generalist. And a generalist is someone who has competencies in many different things, but is not an expert in one specific thing. So you could have, competencies in all kinds of different topics, but you're not really like an expert in one thing. Another option could be you become a true specialist, like you become a real Google Ads specialist and you do only Google Ads and that's all. But the problem with that, as we've seen, is you risk of becoming a commodity in the future with all the automation and AI, etc. So then the solution, in my opinion, to stay relevant and thrive when others will struggle is to become a T-shaped Google Ads specialist. And a T-shaped specialist is someone who is competent in many things and has a core expertise in one specific thing. So I love Pokemon, and if you have played Pokemon in the past or whatever, if you know about Pokemon, then you know that there's different evolutions that go to different Pokemons, and as they evolve, they get stronger. And in my opinion, if you are a generalist, you're just a level 1 Charmander. If you are a specialist, it's a little bit better, but you are a mid-level Charmeleon. But if you are a T-shaped Google Ads specialist, that's where you are really like at your highest powers, like a Charizard. And this is the visualization of the T-shaped Google Ads specialist. So you can see here, we have the T in the middle, like the base, and that's things that you have deep knowledge of. And then on top of that, we see different layers with topics that we should have broad knowledge of. And if you combine those things, you become a T-shaped Google Ads specialist. So when it comes to Google Ads itself, the base, you need to really master the basics, your goals and KPIs, conversion tracking, campaign structures, bids and budgets, targeting, creatives, landing pages, etc. And if you've paid attention, then you recognize these from the Google Ads Success Formula framework. And this is the foundation truly of your career, because we have to remember, first and foremost, we are still Google Ads specialists, and that doesn't change. But the thing that changes is that you do not only focus on what happens inside of Google Ads anymore. So your first job is to gain deep knowledge of how to drive results with Google Ads. That's what you do with the fundamentals. But then you take it to the next level with broad knowledge of business skills around, for example, and these are just examples because it can be like as wide as you want, and it also depends on your specific interests. These are things that you can layer on top of your deep knowledge of Google Ads. So marketing foundational skills, technical skills, analytics and data, conversion related things, consultancy, business strategy, leads and sales, channel expertise. And we have created different components that go inside of those. Like, for example, with marketing foundation, if you can learn about marketing psychology, human psychology in general, brand and positioning, customer journey mapping, marketing strategy, or maybe for technical skills, your GTM, GA4, automation, AI, or with conversion, if you know a little bit about conversion design, irresistible offers, conversion copywriting, positioning, conversion rate boosters. These things really help in, first of all, having better conversations with your clients, but also improving the results more than the things that you can do only inside of Google Ads. Next to that, different things like channel expertise, learn a little bit about SEO, content marketing, social advertising, email marketing. In my career so far, I don't know anything about email marketing in depth, or about social advertising, or about content marketing, or about SEO, but I know enough to see when a client of mine is lacking in that area. And then I can say, okay, we're not doing much with email marketing right now, or we only have like super basic email marketing setup. Maybe we need to fly in an expert who can help us take our email marketing to the next level, because I see that is a bottleneck. You see here, for example, offers and pricing and unit economics. We have put them in the list of things that you can develop a broad knowledge of, because they are not like foundational in the Google Ads base. But those are the two things that are also in the framework, in the Google Ads Success Formula, that are not in your, like, you don't need super deep knowledge of. So you don't have to develop all these skills at once, because true mastery takes time. And I don't want to make it come across as if this is something that you will learn, in 10 days or whatever. It's in my career, I'm doing Google Ads now for 7 years, and I've always had a huge interest in developing myself and in, focusing on personal development and growth and becoming a better marketer, etc. But this really takes time, and you need to allow for yourself that this takes time. But the cool thing about becoming a T-shaped Google Ads specialist is that you don't have to know everything about everything. You need to know everything about Google Ads. That's the core specialization. But then when it comes to, for example, the things like channel expertise, so SEO or social advertising, content marketing, or email marketing, you only need to know like 30%-ish to be able to have good conversations with your clients. So the goal is to get broad knowledge of topics that will make you a better business partner for your clients, so you can help them spot opportunities and bottlenecks that they don't see themselves. And this is key. So you want to be able to develop skills just enough so that you see what your clients don't see, and that you can help them increase average order values, conversion rates, lifetime values, better offers, better pricing, better funnels, better positioning, better copy, better landing pages, etc. Maybe even a better sales process, maybe better lead follow-ups. Maybe you identify that with your lead gen clients, you're generating a lot of leads, but you see that the lead to sale ratio, so the closing rate, is low. Then maybe you can help your clients and say, hey, I realize that we have a lot of leads, but we don't have a lot of actually closed deals. What's going on in this gap? Okay, maybe we need to do better lead scoring, or maybe we need to do better lead nurturing. These types of things are what's going to help you become a business partner for your clients. So to recap, Here's how to thrive when others will struggle. Two things. One, focus on the fundamentals with the Google Ads success formula. An irresistible offer, plus a conversion optimized landing page, plus scalable unit economics, plus clearly defined goals and KPIs, crystal clear conversion tracking, a strong campaign structure based on your goals. That's the bridge between your Google Ads goals and your business goals. You need laser sharp targeting, you need compelling creatives, and proper bids and budget management. And then next to that, after you focus on doing the fundamentals well, you drive the best results and you take it to the next level by looking beyond Google Ads. And in my opinion, you do that by becoming and looking at yourself as a T-shaped Google Ads specialist with a core expertise of Google Ads, the base of the T, plus broad knowledge of business skills that will really set you apart from everyone else in the market who's just focusing on Google Ads. You can have way better conversations with your clients. You can help them on a higher level. And as a result, your results are going to become better. Your clients will stay with you longer and you will have more fun. And that's my experience, at least. Yeah, these things, the things that we can do outside of Google Ads, like, for example, optimizing landing pages, it's a lot of fun. And you see when you see an impact, and let's say you see a conversion rate increase of 20% on your landing page, that's huge for your results. And just imagine what happens when you double your conversion rates, you know? So yeah. Cool. So I've never been more sure of anything. I think this is the way, as the Mandalorian, as it says. I'm always super nuanced, and my motto is it depends. But in this case, I would say it doesn't depend. This really is the way, or at least this is my way. But I think when you focus on doing the fundamentals well, and you combine that by looking ahead and looking beyond Google Ads, I think you will see a lot of success. So beginners focus on advanced strategies and never look beyond Google Ads. But experts know that fundamentals are the key to success and that the true impact is made outside of Google Ads. And we want to help you with that in 2025. So for those of you who are interested, let me just take 5 minutes and tell you about our new Google Ads Success Path program, which is part of the PPC Hub membership. This is something that we have been developing for the last 6 months or so. And we're actually not going to promote it too much because we're launching the first cohort with members of the PPC Hub. And I think around 300 people have registered. We just opened the registration yesterday. 300 people registered from the PPC Hub. So we're not going to do a massive promotion or launch. But I do want to give some of you the opportunity to jump on if you think this would be interesting for you. So what we want to do in the PPC Hub, obviously, our main goal is to help our members become the best Google Ads specialists they can possibly be, so that they can confidently drive results for their clients, over and over. That's the core of it. And with this new Google Ads Success Path program, we want to help you become a T-shaped Google Ads specialist so that you future-proof yourself and deliver the best possible results and increase your value in the marketplace in just around 90 days. And we have learned a lot from the last 2 years doing a lot of different courses, Google Ads Masterclass, etc. And we have learned from what type of content we should teach, the right balance between fundamentals and advanced. We have learned how to create a really good experience, how to make the learning process better, and how to prevent overwhelm. And the biggest reason that we actually see that people struggle with Google Ads is that they don't really know where to start. So we have created the Google Ads Success Path, and it is really a step-by-step program, step-by-step path that takes you from where you are to deeply mastering Google Ads and laying the foundation to become a T-shaped Google Ads specialist. So let me show you the different phases. So the first phase is all about the basics, but this is only for beginners. The PPC Hub is actually a membership for experienced Google Ads specialists, but we did create a basics course because we have a lot of agencies, and now agencies can just hire new juniors, put them in the PPC Hub, let them go through the basics course so that they are up to speed with the absolute basics of Google Ads in the first 7 days. and then they can start with the fundamentals. And this is where it's going to be interesting for the majority of you. In the Google Ads success path, we have different paths, as we call them. So the first one is the fundamentals path, and this is the intermediate level, and this contains 20% of the tasks that drive 80% of the results. So as I've shown you, the different fundamentals. And we will help you deeply master that so you can confidently deliver the best possible results to your clients over and over. And then we have, after each module, we have specializations for e-commerce and for lead gen, whenever relevant, of course. And we created this because every account is different and we cannot create something for everything or everyone. But we want to make it as easy as possible for you to drive results in e-com and lead gen. So whenever needed, like for example, with conversion tracking, we have different paths that show you what you must do to get results in a specific industry, or let's say lead gen versus e-com, because it is different. You know, with lead gen, offline conversion tracking is much more important, and with e-com, maybe profit tracking is more important. Or with bits and budgets, which Bob is working on right now, the bits and budgets module, we have an overarching framework to determine which bid strategy you can choose. But then we also have specific use cases for e-com, specific use cases for lead gen, what to do with Performance Max, what to do with search, etc., etc. Then lastly, this is a 90-day program. And then after this program, when you graduate, you will get access to Powerups. And we call, let me actually take a step back. We want to help you lay the foundation to become a T-shaped Google Ads specialist. So the first steps are to help you, get that deep specialization of the base of the T. But then after that, you will get access to Powerups, which are mini modules on those things that you need broad knowledge of. So that's something that we will be developing throughout this year with other experts, and some of those things we will create ourselves. And those are the things that you can layer on top of your Google Ads skill set to become a better business partner for your clients. And we call them Powerups because, we want them to be pretty basic, because you don't need super extensive, deep knowledge of these things. So we want to keep it more broad, and you can quickly learn the basics of SEO, the basics of social ads, the basics of conversion design, the basics of better funnels, etc., etc. That you can quickly power up your skill set. So the end goal of this process, and Nicole, see how can I enroll? I will come to that in a sec. The end goal is to help you transform into a T-shaped Google Ads specialist so that you will thrive for years to come. But this is not a simple course. This is almost like a complete Google Ads degree. And we have different live sessions, we have home study materials, and we have Q&As. And we go through the following planning. So it's a live cohort, and we start next week on Thursday, on January 16th. And we finish on Tuesday, April 22nd. That's when we have a graduation ceremony, and we're all going to celebrate and cheer and share wins, etc. And that's going to be a lot of fun. But in between, we will go through this program. So we will start with goal setting fundamentals, because that's obviously the most important thing to begin with, always your goals. Then we have conversion tracking fundamentals, which is 2 weeks. It's a workshop and a Q&A. Then we go into bits and budgets fundamentals. Then we have search fundamentals, which is also 1 workshop and 1 Q&A. Then we have 1 week in which we take a little bit of a break. Then we have Performance Max and shopping, 2 weeks as well, workshop and live Q&A. And of course, also a lot of home study materials. Then we have landing page fundamentals. There's also a live workshop and a live Q&A. And then the last module is data analysis, optimization, and reporting. And this is also a live workshop and a Q&A with home study materials as well. And then after that, you know everything you need to know to be able to drive results with Google Ads. And then after that, we're going to continue in the PPC Hub with Powerups to help you develop those essential business skills. And the Powerups are still in development. They're all subject to change, but we will fly in a lot of other experts and create our own Powerups to help you develop those business skills, to really take your skills and the value to the next level and to the highest level possible. That's what we are always aiming for. So we will run our first cohort in the PPC Hub, and more than 300 people have already signed up. So if you want clarity on what it takes to deliver the best possible results for your clients with Google Ads in just about 90 days, and then after that, continue with Powerups, then this program might be interesting for you. And we will help you deeply master the fundamentals of Google Ads so that you can drive, results confidently over and over, and say goodbye to overwhelm and stress and shiny object syndrome and all that stuff with our step-by-step success path program. So enrollment is open in the PPC Hub. This program is part of the PPC Hub program. Enrollment is open for 1 week until next week on Tuesday, January 14th. And we are only opening up to 50 spots. And a lot of people, we often do this because we never want to add too many people at once to the PPC Hub, because I always compare it to a party that's going on. If let's say there's a party somewhere and the vibe is nice, but then all of a sudden like a whole bus of people comes in, that can instantly like change the vibe of the party. So we open and close the doors frequently to allow for people to come in, ease into the community, and that way we make sure that the culture remains good. And this is not fake scarcity. This is a comment that I got on LinkedIn once. Someone who missed the opportunity to join the PPC Hub and wanted to join afterwards, and said that I thought that the limited spots was fake, but it's not. It's actually like we open it up for 50 people now, then we close again, we do the cohort, and then afterwards we're going to open again, of course. And when you join the PPC Hub, you will get access. It's a year membership, access to the community, access to, you can ask questions, all kinds of other courses like Search Mastery, Shopping Mastery, Conversion Tracking Mastery, Performance Max Mastery, Looker Studio dashboards, audit templates, a lot of workshops, well, lots of cool stuff. That's all worth more than 10K. It's all included in the membership. So for those of you who think that this can be interesting, just imagine where you can be in 1 year with us and more than 1,600 experienced Google Ads specialists by your side. Then feel free to join the PPC Hub and get access to the Google Ads Success Path program. And that's going to give you total clarity on how to drive the best possible results. So the 2025 rates are, we have 2 types of tickets. We have single tickets, which is usually applicable for freelancers. It's 2K per year. And for agencies or maybe in-house, like bigger teams, we have a team ticket, and it's 5K per year. And with team tickets, you can just onboard your entire team. If you have new hires, you can just let them go through the programs. And then you make sure that your team is being trained by us all year round. And this can be for new hires, for juniors, etc. But today, we have a special offer for these 50 spots. It's either the 50 spots or next week on Tuesday. The doors are going to close anyway, because on next week on Thursday we're starting with this program, with this cohort. And yeah, for those of you who are interested to join us, feel free to go to ppcmastery.com/hub, and then you can sign up. We have 50 spots, first come, first serve. And you will, when you do that, you will get access to the PPC Hub. And then we will start with this cohort next week on Thursday. So feel free to check it out. I would be very happy to see you. The door is definitely open for you. And now let's take some questions. So you can go, by the way, if you go to the landing page, I put it in the chat, ppcmastery.com/hub. That's where you see, that's where you can sign up. And then we go into the PPC Hub, which actually I can quickly show you guys. It's always a lot of fun to show this. 1 sec. So this is the PPC Hub. And in here you see we have chats and a lot of like people who are asking questions, and well, everything gets answered. We have a good team of moderators as well. And then when you join, you will get access to the Success Path Hub. And in there, you'll see everything you need to onboard, the curriculum. And then we're building the programs. You can see that in here. So as you see, it's a lot of cool content for all those different modules. That's really going to help you take your skills to the next level. So with that said, let me see if there's if there's any questions in the chat, guys, let me know. Then I will answer some. And otherwise, I'm gonna stay on and answer some questions. I'm gonna stay on and answer some questions with you. If you want to join us, go to ppcmastery.com/hub, and yeah, you are now able to unmute yourself as well if you want to. So let me actually just go through the chat. Martin, any chance for the Black Friday price? No, you know my answer there, of course. I wish yeah, I understand, but it's not Black Friday anymore. It's the start of the new year. This program is really going to take the value of the PPC Hub to the next level. So new prices are in effect right now. But hey, the door is definitely still open for you. Mohammed, is there a possibility to only enroll into the program, not the 1-year plan? So that's an excellent question. For now, that will not be possible. I don't know how we do it in the future, but we want to do this program only with members of the PPC Hub so that we can get feedback and make iterations. And it's always cool to launch a new product, a new program. But you also need to make a lot of iterations and feedback, and we want to do that with our members. So maybe in the future it will become a it will become a one-off product that you can buy. But for now, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but for now it's only available in the PPC Hub. Does the 4-week Google Ads Masterclass cover search campaigns as well? Andrew, yes. Yes, it's in there as well. But this program goes in much more detail even. But if you were in the Google Ads Masterclass, then yeah, you've probably seen the modern day search. That was probably very beneficial. Any other questions about this program, guys? Mohammed, should I have a Google Ads client for this program so that I can apply? You don't technically, but you would be better off if you did, because if you have a client, then you can instantly apply. And that's what we want, because I don't want you to just sit there and acquire knowledge. I want you to just actually go and apply. Let's see. How much is the basic course and where can I find it to enroll on your website? The basics course is included in the membership. Everything is included in the membership. Martin, Miles, do you have any material or resources on structuring, building, and A/B testing landing pages? We don't really have too much on that yet until we have this module finished in the Google Ads Success Path. Then we have a lot on it. Bob is already working on that. But you can check out different tools like, what's it called? Fuck, I forgot the name, but well, this landing page builder. I had it in the PPC Hub. Let me actually check. VWO for CRO. My brain is a little bit fried, so I can't remember the name now. Unbounce, finally, Unbounce. They have good resources as well. It's really easy to create landing pages with them. Who else got a question? Let me see, guys. 1 sec. Janine, is there a way to do this on a monthly basis instead of yearly? Right now it's not, but I do understand that some people might want to get on a monthly plan. But if you send me an email to info@ppcmastery.com, I can see if we can do a 3-pay payment plan instead of monthly. Yeah, so Mohammed, same for you. Installments, send me an email at info@ppcmastery.com if you really need to do installments, and then we'll do 3 installments. Flora, can you elaborate a bit more about leveraging Broadmatch with lead gen accounts? I found Broadmatch spending a lot of my budget without much results, so I tend to use Phrase and Exact instead. Well, if you've tested it and you've done an A/B test with an experiment in Google Ads, then I can say all I want, but the results speak for themselves. And I do assume that you, as you said, or no, actually you didn't mention that. I hope you're using smart bidding, because if you're not using smart bidding, then Broadmatch is really like the biggest piece of waste that you can have. But if you are using smart bidding, then it can be a different story, but it depends per vertical as well. So if you see better results with phrase and exact, definitely keep doing that. But it is worth it to keep on testing with broad match, especially with the experiments feature inside of Google Ads. But always make sure that if you use broad, that you also use smart bidding. Okay. Well, if that's all, guys, let me know if there's anyone.